Thank you. And I will now call on Councilman Jones, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting on January 16th? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. So again, hello, everybody. Let me just make a statement to begin our meeting about two legislative initiatives that will be taking place in the future. One relates to Bill 324, and the other relates to an upcoming piece of legislation called the Mixed Use Overlay District. And so you may have saw that there was a press release that came out of the county executive's office this afternoon. And that press release talked about a compromise between the county council and the county executive. And so what it means is in 2 weeks on, I think, is it March the 4th, Mr.? Okay, so that's a great day. March the 4th is a great day because it's always a great day to March 4th. And we're going to march forth on two key pieces of legislation. It's the county executive's intent to withdraw Bill 324, and it will be, I will be introducing a bill instead of, that will, in place of it, will create an overlay district to be appropriate for this year's CZMP, the comprehensive zoning map process, and will be determined, that overlay district will be determined by the respective council members in each of the 7 councilmanic districts. So I have look forward to working with my colleagues on the council in 2 weeks, and also look forward to the deliberation we'll hear both at the work session and throughout the process. Let me also say that we have scheduled on February 27th, we have scheduled a work session for Bill 324. And I know that there's a lot of energy that goes into good testimony, and my experience on the council is we've heard outstanding testimony from individuals. There's a lot of preparation that goes on to prepare, to get ready for good, solid testimony. And so I want to ask my colleagues if, and Mr. Secretary, I'm going to have to ask you for guidance on this. So what I'd like to do is, rather than have a work session on a bill that's going to be withdrawn, use that energy elsewhere on, perhaps you can use it on supporting the mixed use overlay district that's going to follow this. And so with that, Mr. Secretary, could you remind me of the mechanism to ask to extend, or to, it's actually, it may be an extension, is that correct? But it's a de facto suspension of Bill 324, because we're going to suspend it so that we don't have to, people don't have to put that energy into the work session, and then we can move on to other things. We've got a lot to discuss tonight. In fact, this is going to be an action-packed legislative session. And so we've got a lot of action tonight that we're going to pack into this meeting. And so, again, the logistics for this, Mr. Secretary?
Yeah, certainly, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. Similar to how the council did so 2 weeks ago, the council may make a motion, may entertain a motion from one of its members to suspend the rules. And if that motion is carried, then Bill 3-24 can be brought up this evening out of order, particularly since the purpose of doing so is not to pass or rule on the legislation, but to procedurally move the bill, in that sense, extend the bill again. You may recall the bill was extended out of order 2 weeks ago in order to consider the master plan first. And in essence, the council, if it likes, can do the same thing tonight, suspend the rules, bring the bill up for consideration, and a motion can then be entertained to extend the bill for another 2 weeks until March 4th, which would take it off of the council's calendar next week, as well as, well, next week.
Okay, so thank you for that explanation, Mr. Secretary. And do I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Do we have a second? I'll second it. Mr. Secretary, could you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Patoka?
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary, is this a motion to suspend the rules to
Yes, sir.
then vote on extension or otherwise?
Well, right now, we have a motion to suspend the rules in order to bring 324 up,
Okay, thank you, Mr. Secretary.
certainly. First, Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Marks, Mr. Ertel,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye?
Mr. Young.
Aye.
Mr. Boswick, change my vote to an aye.
Yes, sir.
So it's unanimous. Thank you.
Yes, so noted. So the motion has been carried, Mr. Chairman, so the rules have been suspended in order to bring Bill 3-24 up for consideration. Is there any further motions on this bill? Are there, I guess I should say, or is
I'll
there another
motion
motion?
to extend it.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, I have a counter motion.
I think,
There's a motion and a second. I believe that motion carries, Mr. Crandall, since it has been
let
seconded.
me do this, Mr. Secretary.
Will
Is
the
there any,
members at least hear my,
oh, no, I was just going to say, Councilman Crandall.
what my motion would have been had it been first?
Sure, let me just say this. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns related to the motion from the members? Mr. Crandall?
I would like us to table this bill entirely. That would have been my motion, and I have other comments to make. Maybe at this point in time is not the appropriate time.
Okay, fair enough. Any other members have any comments, questions, or concerns?
Mr. Patoka?
Yes,
I
Councilman.
mean, that is why I initially voted no. I think we need to move past this legislation. I think you've negotiated good parameters, but I ideally would like to see this legislation withdrawn.
So appreciate that, Councilman Marks and Councilman Crandall. I understand your perspective on this, and, you know, we've had discussion over the weekend on this, and I've listened carefully, but I do think that we have a plan that will work moving forward. I think it's been made public this afternoon. I think we will have that bill withdrawn on March 4th, as well as a new bill, a replacement bill that actually allows for land use authority to be the authority of this council. And so with that, if there are no other comments, questions, or thoughts, I would ask that Councilman Jones?
Yeah, I was just, I guess on my way over here today, I heard on the radio that the bill would be withdrawn and that another bill would be introduced. And I guess I'm wondering what is the logic in us not withdrawing the bill, but extending the bill?
Well, the withdrawing of the bill would have to be done by the executive branch, and their desire was not to withdraw.
No, that's not, no, that is not
Withdrawing the
true.
bill would be done by
You as the chair
four
can
votes of the
withdraw it
council.
right now, or we can withdraw it per my motion.
Well, we have a motion in place. I think that we had discussions in good faith, and I think that we're circling. We have so much work, our council has so much work before it. Our bandwidth is at capacity, and for us to circle around this issue in a circular fashion, not going from point A to point B, but to continue to circle around this, I don't think it's fruitful, and I think that we have a lot we can be moving forward on. We've got a lot of issues tonight, as I mentioned. We have an action-packed meeting, and I think right now we're discussing nuances and semantics, and I feel that more appropriately, we can just move forward. We're talking about not 2 weeks, we're talking about 13 days.
Oh.
13 days,
Mr. Chair?
and we can stop moving in a circular fashion. Yes,
Mr.
Mr.
Chair,
Crandall?
this is not circular. This is saying that Bill 324 is completely unpopular and toxic. That's what we're saying. You want to extend it. I'm saying we need to table it and kill it. And if you want to negotiate, negotiations, by the way, that I'm not privy to. You said that you reached some sort of agreement with the administration. I'm not aware of those agreements that you have reached. So 324 needs to go away.
Councilman Crandall, I respect you.
And we're not talking in circles. We're talking about black and white. Either we extend the bill that is a complete dog that was dead on arrival, or we extend it and extend the conversation that so many people throughout Baltimore County, including your own constituents, cannot stand and are completely against. And we're going to extend that bill. We're going to vote to extend that bill.
Councilman Crandall, let me remind you that we spoke at length at least 3 times over the weekend by phone. We've had good, healthy discussion.
Yep.
I think that during that time, we've had, I think your characterization of how this came about is not accurate. I'll just say that.
Well, let me just tell you this, Mr. Chair. I've been approached by numerous members of the administration, including yourself, to change my vote on the master plan in conciliation for agreeing to a new version of 324, and I refuse to capitulate on that. And I was asked to change my vote on the master plan this evening by members of the administration, including yourself, to change my vote on amending the master plan in order for the administration to save face, because they introduced a bill that made no sense and that nobody is in agreement with, and that our constituency completely completely is against. So I'm sitting here, I am sitting here being told throughout the weekend, when I know that 324 was going to be withdrawn in some form or fashion, and I'm told by members of the administration, including yourself, that, hey, if you make this deal with us, we'll withdraw 324, when 324 was already going to be withdrawn anyway. So you can understand why I'm upset. It's an insult to my intelligence and an insult to my constituency that I represent. So if you want to continue this bill instead of killing it, that's at your own peril.
Well, Councilman Crandall, I'm really sorry you feel that way. But again, I think you characterize, your characterization of our discussion is not accurate. Our discussion, as I recall, I asked you to be a little bit more thoughtful in your review of the master plan as it relates to your district. And the reason I asked you to be more thoughtful is because I thought perhaps a broad brush approach to an important entity of our growth for the next 6.5 years would warrant more thought and a careful approach. And so let me just finish.
So Councilman, are you telling me that I'm not thoughtful in my approach to the representation of my own constituency? Is that what you just said?
I'm not saying that.
That's what you just said.
Well, Councilman Crandall, you have to let me finish what I'm saying. Otherwise, you'll never know what I said.
I just listened to what you said.
Yeah, well, you know, Councilman Crandall, let me just say this. I'm not saying that you're not thoughtful to your constituents. I'm saying that you did not give the master plan a thoughtful review. That's what I'm saying.
So you are in essence saying that I was not thoughtful in my approach to my representation of my constituents because I did not, in your opinion, bring a thoughtful approach to the master plan, which was junk when it was given it to us. Okay. It was a mess when it was given it to us. It was 3 years late. It was 3 years late, and we got over 20 amendments to it because the thing was a piece of junk when we got it.
Councilman Crandall.
And then there was legislation applied to it that we didn't even know about.
Councilman Crandall, I've been very respectful to you, and all I would ask is that you offer some respect back. Okay. So what I would say is that I am in no way judging you with your interactions with your constituents. I am someone who has read the master plan from page 1 to page last. I've commented thoroughly throughout it, and you'll hear that later in testimony today. And yes, I don't believe, in my opinion, that you gave a thoughtful review of the master plan. I'm just being honest with you, as I always am. And I'm not judging you in your relationship with your constituents. I'm suggesting that you, in my opinion, your review could have been a little bit more comprehensive. And so, do any other council members have any thoughts, questions, comments? Councilman Ertel.
I would just like to say one thing. The way this was set up, I feel like the administration almost has, like, we can't withdraw the bill. We're going to put something together that should address all these issues from a council standpoint. And I feel like in good faith, the administration, not you, Chairman, but the administration should have withdrawn the bill tonight. And therefore, we would not be in this situation of going back and forth. And I think 324 had a lot of issues to it. It's gotten a lot of negativity. I've gotten more emails about 324. I've been here 14 months. And maybe there'll be a bill that gets more negative emails than this, but this has by far been the biggest, 50, 60 emails a day against this bill. And I think the administration should have been a little more thoughtful about it. And that's all I'm going to say. It has nothing to do with council.
Thank you, Councilman Ertel. Any other questions, comments, or thoughts to share? Okay, let me just circle back to where we are in the process. We have a motion, we have a second, we've had a robust level of comment, and so, Mr. Secretary, please take roll call.
Yes, sir. Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Jones? Mr. Marks?
I have a question to the administration's legislative officer. I would like you to state on the record, a question to the administration's legislative officer, on the record that this legislation will be withdrawn. Is my expectation that if it's not withdrawn, that we will withdraw that bill, correct?
Correct.
So this bill is dead.
Well, it's dead if it doesn't get 4 votes, one way or the other.
I wish it was dead tonight. I'm going to.
It's not dead tonight.
Certainly, we understand the sentiment everybody has. If we could brace together for 13 days, we can get past this point.
Reluctantly, aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Because I have been consistently misled or tried to have been misled for the past 3 or 4 days by the administration, absolutely not.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Councilman Catch. I thought we may have lost you in all of that exciting discussion we had, but glad everybody is here, and thank you.
Well, thank you for keeping the most unpopular bill in the history of the Baltimore County Council alive. Thank you all.
Thank you, Councilman Crandall. I think we've heard your point, and we need to move on with
You haven't heard anything yet.
okey doke. All right. Okay, Mr. Secretary, will you now read all bills for introduction?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. First bill for introduction this evening is Bill 6-24, Maryland Model Floodplain Ordinance Conforming Legislation. Next is Bill 7-24, sponsored by Councilman Patoka, Zoning Regulations RAE2 Zone Location Requirement Relative to Business Zones. And Bill 8-24, sponsored by Councilman Jones, Zoning Regulations, Multifamily 2/2 Condominium Townhome Units. All three for introduction this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. We'll first consider the appointment of confirmations. Mr. Secretary, first item.
First, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, is the county executive's nomination for reappointment to the Adult Public Guardianship Review Board of Mr. Barry Goldstein.
Okay, is Mr. Goldstein with us today? Okay.
I don't believe so.
Oh,
We
thank
did
you.
hear from him at the work session.
We did hear from Mr. Goldstein in the work session, and so do we have a motion to support?
Motion to approve?
Motion seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Ertel,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Jones.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Congratulations, Mr. Goldstein. Okay, we'll now move on to final reading and votes of bills. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
Yes, sir. First is Bill 1-24, sponsored by Councilman Catch, zoning regulations, uses permitted in the business major and manufacturing light zones, residential uses in Hunt Valley.
Okay, before we begin on this particular bill, I just want to state that Mr. Councilman Catch and myself have both been briefed by the law office, and we are going to move forward on this. Councilman Catch, would you like to discuss this bill?
Yes, I would. I need to be honest in that I don't quite know how stable I am. So I'm going to ask.
Certainly, Councilman Catch. I'll ask the secretary to read the bill.
I'm going to ask the secretary to read. I had a statement prepared, and I don't think I'm going to be able to read it, but I'm going to ask the secretary to read it, please.
Certainly, Councilman Catch. Mr. Secretary?
Sir, this was prepared by Mr. Catch for Bill 1-24. This is Mr. Catch's words. When I introduced Bill 1-24 last month, one of the main reasons for doing so was to provide an opportunity for residential development in some underutilized areas in Hunt Valley. As has been stated a number of times recently, there is a shortage of new and existing housing in the state of Maryland and in Baltimore County. In addition to single-family homes, the concept of 2-over-2 townhome condominiums has become an attractive option for older homeowners looking to downsize and young people who want to be near work and amenities. At last week's work session during the discussion of Bill 1-24, I mentioned the redevelopment of the property at the old Hunt Valley Inn site. This was intended to give an illustration of a potential development opportunity at that location. But as drafted, Bill 1-24 has the potential to apply to other properties in the Hunt Valley area that meet the general locational requirements of the bill. The bill also allows for various housing types depending on the circumstances and contains regulations for setbacks, height, and open space. People are increasingly looking for housing that is connected to areas where they can shop. The Avalon Apartments at one end of Hunt Valley Town Center is a good example, as well as the residences currently being built near where the old Sears store once stood. Hopefully, Bill 1-24 will spur appropriate residential development in areas of Hunt Valley that qualify, and I hope my colleagues will be supportive of the bill.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Catch, I'm sorry.
that's all right. I need to make the statement that I think the administration was somewhat upset that there were no apartments involved in this particular legislation. However, right in back of the Hunt Valley Inn 3 years ago, I approved the building of 2 apartment buildings, and the whole area is zoned CCC. So in essence, it'll be townhouses and apartments. And I'm not sure the administration realized what I had done 3 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Catch. Do any of the members have any questions, comments, or concerns they'd like to share with Councilman Katzer on this issue? Councilman Ertel.
I was just going to say, I'd like to motion to approve it, unless others have comments.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Before we get there, we have amendments.
Is there amendment? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
I did not know that, Secretary, sorry.
Mr. Secretary, please read the amendments.
Certainly. The amendments are mostly technical in nature. There's an amendment that increases a property line setback from 10 feet to 20 feet. Also, an amendment that specifies that the open space that is provided will include amenities and that there will be pedestrian connectivity on site to help facilitate access to transit, retail, and commercial uses in the vicinity. There is also an amendment. There is a mention in the bill as drafted about a setback related to proximity to Schwann Road and the ramp from Interstate 83, and the amendment would just clarify that setback would be in place if the location of a development tract is applicable to that road and that ramp. It's not a blanket requirement. And the amendment also specifies that, as Mr. Catch mentioned, there could be apartments or stacked townhomes and or single-family attached units.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Any comments, thoughts, or questions on the amendments? Do we have a motion on the amendments?
So moved.
We have a move and second. Mr. Secretary, call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
And I'm going to break from the rules for just a second. We have a very energetic attendee here. Okay. So we had a work session on this, and we are now voting on it. So
Do you want me to explain?
yes, the Secretary will explain.
As Mr. Patoka indicated, the work session or the public input on the bill was last Tuesday, and there was the opportunity to sign up to specifically testify about the items under consideration. The portal for testifying this evening is something that the council gives anyone as a courtesy to speak about any item they wish, not necessarily related to items that are under consideration, or it could be related to items that are under consideration. But that period for testimony comes at the very end after the meeting has occurred and been adjourned. That is something that the council has been doing for many, many years to give the public the opportunity to provide input on any item, even something that isn't before the council that the person is interested in. But the period for public input on Bill 1-24 was this past Tuesday, February the 13th.
Okay, what I would say is just, if you'd like to still provide some testimony, please stay put, and as we get through this meeting, we're delighted to hear your testimony.
Mr. Chair, I just want to add, you said that written testimony was sent? So any written testimony that's sent to the general counsel email is forwarded to all of the council members. So if it was written testimony was emailed, it has been forwarded to the members prior to this evening. And we do print out a copy that goes to our record, just to let you know.
So thank you, Ms. Belcastro. And so your testimony was circulated to the members. And so the the members and/or their staff have reviewed it, and so we're going to proceed with the vote on this bill.
I believe you have a motion and a second.
Okay, Mr. is this on the,
No, we
this is
have-
on the bill or on the amendment?
You do- Oh, right, we need a motion, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, we need a motion and a second on the bill as amended.
Okay, do we have
So
a
moved.
bill? I think Wade made a motion.
Yes.
Do we have a second? I'll second. Okay, Mr. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks? Mr. Ertel?
Okay, bill passes. Excuse me one second. Next bill, please, Mr. Secretary.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 2-24. This bill is sponsored by Councilman Young, zoning regulations, live musical entertainment, MH zone.
Okay, Mr. Young.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As stated from the work session, Bill 224 includes manufacturing heavy as a acceptable inclusion for potentially getting a license to have live music. Right now, it's really the only place that's not allowed. They also have manufacturing of license allowed, but we couldn't identify why manufacturing heavy was left out, and it was a request by some business owners. So with that, that's pretty much the extent of it, and appreciate your support. Move favorable.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman Young. Do we have any questions, comments, or thoughts for Councilman Young?
Motion to approve, Chair.
Okay, we had a move favorable and a motion, so I'm going to translate that into a motion and a second. And Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Okay, the bill passes. Congratulations, Councilman Young. The council will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on February 13th. The witnesses who testified at the work sessions are available to restate their testimony if needed. I'll call upon the secretary to read the cover letter for fiscal matters 2 through 4. Fiscal matter 1 will be discussed as a separate matter.
First fiscal matter, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, is a contract with Daniel Sims Consulting Group. I'm sorry, that's number 1. Number 2 is fiscal matter 2 is a contract with the Equal Rights Center Incorporated. Fiscal matter 3 is a contract with Siemens Industry. And fiscal matter 4 is 4 contracts for space planning and design services through property management.
Okay, any questions, comments, or thoughts on these fiscal matters?
Chair, is there a way we could pull number 1 out of the package?
It has been pulled, Councilman Ertel.
Okay, great.
This is just,
For separate.
yes, exactly. This is 2 through 4, Councilman Ertel. So any other questions, comments, or thoughts on 2 through 4? Okay, do we have a motion? I'll make a motion.
move.
Okay, I'll second. Mr. Chair, please, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll. I got to stop talking to myself.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks? Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Okay, fiscal matters 2 through 4 passed. Now we're going to circle back to fiscal matter 1. And so,
Yes, fiscal
Ms.
matter-
Rogers, let me
I'm
just
sorry.
ask. we
Fiscal
don't have to have
fiscal
this-
matter 1 is a contract with Daniel Sims Consulting Group LLC. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Do we want to have any presentation on this, Ms. Rogers and Ms. Peoples, welcome back. I didn't see you there.
All right, good evening, Councilman.
Good evening.
All right, so the administration, as you know, is requesting the approval of a contract with Daniel Sims Consulting Group LLC. What I would like to provide clarity on is this is actually a three-part scopes of work that include the following: a countywide equity assessment, as well as to prepare a strategic plan and to provide training to staff based on the findings of the equity assessment. The purpose of the equity assessment is to identify areas of opportunities throughout county government where equitable decision-making and performance can be strengthened to best meet the needs of the community. The assessment includes an evaluation of county policies, programs, and practices in order to determine where the county's equitable decision-making and performance excels and where opportunities exist for them to be strengthened. This is the first phase of the contract. The second phase of the contract includes developing a diversity, equity, and inclusion strategic plan that will outline the various strategies and activities the county will take to strengthen its equity focus. The DEI strategic plan will be complementary to the county's enterprise-wide strategic plan, specifically Goal 3, equitable decision-making. The third and final phase of the contract is also that of implementation and includes the execution of training to county leaders, managers, supervisors, and staff based upon the findings of the evaluation and goals of the DEI strategic plan. The value of the contract is $280,494 to complete all phases, i.e. an assessment, to develop a strategic plan, and to provide training. The period of performance commences upon council approval and will not exceed December 31st, 2026. Please note that this contract was competitively solicited through the county's request for proposal process and has an MWBE goal of 30% per phase. There were 7 proposals submitted to complete the project, and Daniel Sims Consulting Group LLC had both the best proposal upon the services requested as well as the lowest bid. The contract will be managed by the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I'd like to take just a brief moment to provide clarity regarding the division's role and responsibilities. DEI is a newly formed division as per the 2023 legislation, Bill 3223. It is comprised of the following 3 areas. The first is enriching the county's fair and equitable policies and practices by working in coordination with the offices and departments to promote equity-informed planning, policy development, and decision-making. And while the division is new, it is also comprised of 2 programmatic areas that have been in the county's operation for over 40 years. The first is the Human Relations Program. This program has a purpose to enforce the county's anti-discrimination law, as well as Article 29 of the Baltimore County Code, which allows for the investigation of housing, employment, education, finance, exchange of goods and services complaints. The program also, Human Relations Program also oversees the 15-member Human Relations Commission, as well as the newly established Title VI Centralized Business Process Compliance Operation. In addition, the program provides training to areas of cultural competency, implicit bias, and LGBTQIA+, just to name a few. The second program under DEI is the Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise Program. The purpose of this program is to increase and promote both MBE and WBE participation in county contracts. Our 2021 disparity study found several disparities, including in construction, professional services, and goods and service contracts valued at $25,000 and over. The findings showed that there were repeated missed opportunities to engage these services from minority and women-owned businesses. Only 10% of contracts were awarded to these groups between July 1st, 2012 through July 30th, 2017, which was the period of the study. The county's overall MWBE business goal of 15% had been in place since 2009. This percentage refers to the cumulative total of all discretionary dollars spent in the fiscal year of county procurements awarded to and or performed by MBE and WBE businesses. Based upon that study, the county administration issued an executive order to increase participation to 23% and to 30% by FY 2026, just as an example. The disparity study informed us of what we are doing well as where we can improve so that we could take action. The equity assessment that we have presented before you today will allow us to accomplish a similar goal, to assess and establish a baseline of how we're doing throughout county operations in areas of opportunities for improvement as it relates to equitable decision-making. However, this contract takes it 2 steps further by allowing us to receive support in acting on the findings of the assessment by developing a DEI strategic plan and providing training to staff based upon those findings. This contract is focused on improving decision-making practices by determining where gaps exist in county operations. Thank you all very much for your consideration and the opportunity to present before you this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Chairman?
So does any of the members have any questions, comments, or thoughts? Councilman Catch.
Yes, thank you very much. The money for this study is coming from where?
This is ARPA funded.
If the council were to turn down this study and the county saved, I think it's 280,000, I believe, or 60,000, could that money be used to assist the people on Benji's Road who are confronted with an impossible situation where they're going to get public water, and it's estimated that each family is going to be responsible for $60,000. And I just would like to know if this money could be used for that purpose, because if it can, I'd like to see it used in that way.
We will have to review the regulations on whether or not that will be able to, if it's eligible.
That would be,
Councilman Jones?
that's great. Say that even if it were eligible, that would be a decision that someone in the administration would have to make.
Exactly.
Any other questions, Councilman Marks?
I want to thank my colleague, Councilman Catch, for bringing up the plight of the residents that I represent on Benji's Road. Interesting that in our packets we have a description of that project, and I'm just going to read. The construction cost for Benji's Road is $2.085 million, of which the property owners will pay $1.515 million. Baltimore County will be responsible for $488,878, of which $316,305 is county assistance requiring county council approval. I respect everything that's been said about the goal of making this county have fair and equitable policies, but we have a problem staring us right in the face.
Thank you, Councilman Marks. Councilman Ertel?
Yes, Ms. Peoples Brown, right? Is it people? Okay.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if you were still using Peoples Brown or. So question, how many staff people do we have in the department these days?
Within the division, 12, including myself.
12, okay. We've heard 6. Is there a reason why we've heard 6? It's 12, right?
It's 12. And I do have a copy of the DEI final report 2023 that includes a copy of our organizational chart as well as a quick cheat sheet, fact sheet for you.
Okay. So some of the things that came up at work session were, I know at my town hall, we had a lot of people that seemingly are looking for help from Baltimore County for language barrier issues, ESOL, things like that. Is that something that your office deals with at all, or is that not a scope of your department?
That would be within the Office of Community Engagement.
Community engagement deals with immigrant affairs.
Yes, we have an immigrant affairs
You have
specialist.
one person. Okay. But why doesn't DEI deal with that at all?
That's not part of our charge. However, if anyone needed assistance with services, we would certainly, just because we are part of general government operations, support them in that endeavor.
Okay, but you don't now. What, minority business participation, do you investigate when we have contractors to make sure that they are that they have minority participation, that they indeed are following the...
Absolutely, that is a part of our charge. We have a compliance team. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm saying we have a team on the MWBE side, that program. Not only do we do goal setting, which was the example that I gave in my testimony, but we definitely have the responsibility to ensure compliance, that the prime contractor is indeed engaging in a fair and equitable manner with that subcontractor.
Because I received a report from the Inspector General that implies that you're not keeping up with, there was a contractor that was basically lying about minority participation, and then we issued another 2 contracts to them when the city dinged them for truly not having minority participation.
So that, I think those are apples and oranges mixing. As far as the report that you're referring to, we have since administratively put some operations in place to ensure when a contract is approved, it's not just our office that receives it. There's also our Office of Budget, Procurement Division, that Division of Procurement and Logistical Services that is also engaged in that process, as well as the Office of Law. So there's several areas of county government that are involved when a contract is awarded. The mishap that you are referring to has since been resolved.
Okay. And when we do this consulting contract, is the consultant looking at best practices for the Department of DEI, or are they looking at the rest of the county?
The rest of the county.
So they're not going to do any, they're not going to look at
the entire county. We're part of the county, so.
I understand that, but we have a brand new department here, and we're going to pay for a consultant to come in, but they're not going to look at what your department does at all?
No, they're going to look at, yes, they're going to look at the entire enterprise. We're part of the enterprise.
Okay, but you just said that they're going to look at the rest of the county, not your department.
I corrected. I said, yes, they're going to look at the entire enterprise. We're part of the enterprise.
Okay, all right.
Councilman Jones?
Yeah, first of all, welcome back. I guess, I don't know if it's going to be long or not. I don't know if you're off maternity leave, but we certainly appreciate you being here. And I just want to make a statement that the work that your office is doing is new. I think it's new. I think we had something similar in the past. Maybe it was under a different name, but I guess I'm saying when we think about what's going on Benji's Road and things of that nature, it is frustrating at times when we see contracts go out to contractors to do a job. And I know what made me very, very upset recently was the $800,000 for a housing contract when I had a homeless shelter that was closing in my district. And but we've taken care of that. We've passed the $800,000 and we've gotten the money to the Night of Peace shelter, which is good. And I guess I'm saying when we think about what's happening on Benji's Road, her office is on a team with us in terms of making sure that there's equitable and making sure people are being treated fairly. And I'm not sure if it's a good idea to withhold funding from that office because of the issues that we have with basically somebody else in county government that is causing the issues in terms of the things that was highlighted by my colleagues last week. Well, was it last week when we talked about some of the things that are in some of the schools that are not there and things of that nature. I guess my point is our office should be an advocate to work with us in terms of making sure that those disparities are not done and or don't take place or corrected, one or the other. I guess I'm just saying that I think, having heard my colleagues, and I appreciate everybody here making sure that people in our community, in our county, are treated fairly and receive the services that everyone else receives, and are not somehow getting the short end of the stick. And my point is, her office is here to assist us in making that happen. So I'll be more than happy to formulate a hit list if we want to go out and find the other folks or entities that are causing the problems, but I'm not so sure her office is the one. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Councilman Crandall?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Councilman Jones, I fully agree with the sentiment that you expressed. Is Peoples Brown, am I getting that
Yes.
correct? Thank you for coming before us tonight and have your fiscal matter being under discussion. So here's what I'm struggling with. I've spent years in the private sector before I was elected to this position. And when someone is given a job as director, CEO, whatever, they're the boss and you're the boss. It seems to me that that is the responsibility of the boss to come up with a strategic plan and to come up with how the organization is supposed to operate. There's 12 people in the agency. I'm just struggling with 280,000, or is it 260? I forget. 280, I think.
280.
280 for the consultant to advise us on something that, in my mind, is something that your department, that's your whole mission, is to develop a strategic plan for the county with 12 people to do this assessment and develop a deliverable that you all are already very intimate with all the details of. So I'm just letting you know what my struggle is with this particular contract and give you the opportunity to explain to me like where my thinking is not on par with what you and maybe the administration is thinking.
Thank you. So I just want to reiterate that we are relatively new. The division, its roles and responsibilities is brand new, if you will. While we were existing under the executive order in 2019, the office was recently codified. So what does that mean? That means that we now have several new things that are before us, which I spend a quite deal of my time focused on. You mentioned developing a strategic plan. Well, a part of that, we have to make sure that we have the necessary metrics, which is what a good deal of our roles and responsibility, well, my role and responsibility has been to oversee on both the human relations program as well as on the MWBE side, making certain that we have viable metrics. Also, community engagement. I appreciate all of the feedback that you all have shared regarding community engagement. In fact, last year we have been in consultation. You all may be familiar with the community equity districts, and what I have proposed is for us to identify identify in each of your districts community equity opportunities. We want to be present in the community. While our charge is not truly based on that of what our colleagues in the Office of Community Engagement is, we do very much recognize and appreciate the responsibility of working to make certain that the community as a whole is uplifted and supported in every single way. In any role and any way that we can be a part of that achievement, we're very much willing and excited to do so. So please be on the lookout, because I will be reaching out to each of your teams for us to get better engaged, to truly understand each of your unique perspectives. We also have the Human Relations Commission, which is a huge undertaking. We are in the process of reimagining that particular, the functions of the commissions, because we want to make certain that we're doing things that are impactful, that we're not just checking off boxes, that we're not just, meeting to talk about problems, but to actually talk about how we can have solutions and those who will be assigned to implement those solutions that we discussed. Also coming down the pipeline, at one point there was an MWBE commission. We're working to reimagine, to bring that back online, because again, it's all about the community and making sure that we're hearing the voices, those who are receiving the contracts, those who are doing business with the county, to make certain that we are doing everything that we can to make certain that the customer experience, the contractual experience is worthwhile. I can go on and on and on, but we have several things that are in the pipeline. I'm also the chair of the Equitable Policing Advisory Group, which Councilman Jones is a member of. We invite any of you to join us at our next quarterly meeting in April. That is, again, is a huge undertaking. We're working closely with the police department to ensure that we are making certain that the engagement with the community is that of inclusiveness, and not that of, we're on the outside and just making decisions. So I have quite a few things. You mentioned me personally, so I have quite a few things on my agenda, in addition to helping to oversee, and I say helping because we do have 2 program managers on the team, one Ramona Brown Carter, who you all heard from last week. So my load is definitely heavy, but definitely never too much to bear. So just wanted to answer your question and give you a little bit of an insight on what we have down the pipeline and what's on my plate.
And I thank you for that. I think that some of us on the council here, we understand that there is an office and that you're in charge. But to, I think, Councilman Ertel's point last week, and maybe even tonight, is that we're not quite sure what's going on with the agency and the activities that you're doing. So that's, I think that's part of the reason why we wanted to discuss this contract a little bit more with you, and I appreciate all the information that you've just shared with us.
Thank you. Councilman Young, and then Councilman Marks.
Mr. Chair, if I can, just defer to Ms. Rogers.
Oh, sure. Ms. Rogers. Councilman Young, did you want to? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Rogers.
Okay, as I said, I'm very proud of Ms. Peoples-Brown, but I want to answer one of your questions specifically about consultants or subject matter experts who come in and help with strategic planning. When I came here in 2019, I came before you with a $69,000 contract to get an expertise to help us develop our enterprise-wide strategic plan. The county had never had an enterprise-wide strategic plan. Now, I am trained in strategic planning, but what an external third party can do, they can see things that you can't see when you're very close to the work. They can be a neutral party to help engage individuals, and as I said last week, sometimes there are things that we're so close to work sometimes, we don't even know what we don't know. That's what a consultant brings in. Now, I'm very, very proud that the strategic plan update is going to be released. We took the time, it's taken us some time to get it done, and we're looking back over what we did during the pandemic, et cetera. We could not have done that without the help of the original contractor who came in to help us to look at things, because strategic planning was not a way of the county. This is one of the only places that I've ever worked that there was not a strategic plan that should guide you. It doesn't cover everything, but it guides you. Sometimes if you don't get an external entity to come in and help you look at the work differently, particularly around this area, diversity, equity, and inclusion, you could easily miss very, very important things that will help the government be more responsible, that will help the government engage. And that's the whole reason why we come forward with these kinds of requests. Now, surely there's been millions of dollars, you know, given out as far as ARPA for different things. And if you look at all the contracts we brought before you, there's not one DEI contract out of any of those millions of dollars that were done. This is an opportunity for the county to continue this important work of being more responsive, of being more equitable, and making decisions through an equity lens, which is a core part of our 5 goals of our strategic plan. So that's why we came. And anybody who does strategic planning and knows about strategic planning knows that sometimes if you're close to the work, you don't know what you don't know.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers.
Ms. Rogers, I do appreciate your comments, and I will just say that although there may not have been a contract brought to us specifically for DEI, that the contracts that we have approved have been for the benefit of our citizens, which is automatically inclusive and hopefully diverse. And so I don't know how you can separate the fact that the council has approved with the administration's request so many different projects through ARPA funding and say that it's not for the benefit of all Baltimore County citizens. So I just wanted to make that point. I understand where you're coming from, that we didn't, there's not been an exclusive DEI contract, but also understand that $280,000 is not in a small amount of money. This is a big contract for a consultant that produces paper, not tangible, not a playground in an underserved community, not something to help out the people on Benji's Road, not something tangible, produces paper. And I'm not saying I'm voting against this. I'm not saying that. I fully understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate the testimony of Ms. Peoples-Brown. But it's a lot of money for somebody to produce a report. $280,000 to produce a report. That's what we're talking about. It's a lot of money.
As Ms. Peoples-Brown indicated, it's more than that. There are 3 phases of it. There's training involved that will result. The training is designed to address the outcomes of what is found from the assessment. So to me, that's a tangible action more than a report.
Understood.
Councilman Jones?
Thank you, Ms. Rogers.
Then Councilman.
Ms. Peoples-Brown, how long is the contract?
18 months.
That's a year and a half.
26.
Through 2026.
Okay. And do you have any idea how many people will be working on the contract?
Can you be more specific?
How many people are going to be assigned to Baltimore County to assist us in this endeavor?
I would have to, I don't recall.
Okay. But it's 18 months.
Yes.
More than one person?
More than one person. It's a team.
More than 10?
I would have to look back at, I don't remember.
Okay. No, I appreciate what you're doing, and I am all in with my colleagues. But I'm not sure that withholding the monies from this department is the right thing to do at this time. I think when I guess talk about the housing bill, there was $800,000 for 6 months worth of work. Well, that one really took me to the moon, but the administration assured me that they would take care of the homeless shelter, and they did. So I am hopeful that once we get this bill behind us, that the administration would do a similar thing in terms of doing whatever they can to help our friends on Benji's Road. Whether or not it be making some assessment on any developers that come along after the fact to make sure they pay their share, or any type of grants we can get from the General Assembly, or anybody that can help people on Benji's Road who, it's not just about the folks on, we're talking about the folks on Benji's Road right now, but in reality, to do anything necessary to keep any of our elderly folks in their homes so that they not be hit with catastrophic bills that they did not prepare for and unavailable to take care of. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Councilman Young?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Wanted to, and CAO Rogers sort of touched on it a little bit, but there are 3 phases to this. The first, phase 1 goes through, as I read it, your data collecting phase, where they're engaging with enterprise-wide, all departments.
Yes. So that would include interviews, not only just reviewing documents, but sitting down, talking to staff.
And then we go, and through those interviews and engaging with staff, finding out about what is currently being done, what, at least from a department perspective, when asked, like what initiatives are being done related to DEI, they get a chance to kind of talk about what's being done individually in individual departments, which as an agency, you might have access to other directors, but you're charged to conduct these particular things, but you're not going to every department around the executive branch and getting an idea of what it is that they do related to DEI, correct?
Correct. And if I may add, one of the advantages of having the contractor to engage is also somewhat of a neutral party, as Administrative Officer Rogers alluded to earlier, but having a neutral subject matter expert to engage, it's all about decision making, and we want to make certain that when it comes to funding allocations, funding decisions, that we're really putting the best foot forward, that we're utilizing a strategic tool that will ensure that equitable decision making is the outcome.
As you mentioned, you'll also be part of that as well.
Absolutely.
So as in terms of a department not having to hear or be interviewed by another director from DEI to tell them, you tell us about your DEI programs and policies. It's not internal, it's external. Creates less of a maybe an adversarial type of potential.
Exactly.
Right. So then that's phase 1, and then phase 2 is I guess it's the creation of that strategic plan that's developed from that information that's collected.
Yes.
And and we'll all be able to see that, and also kind of have a guide, a map.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then phase 3, I'm sorry to go just through this, I just want to be clear on this. Provide training to county leaders, managers, supervisors, and staff related to, one, the strategic plan that's been developed, but also from that information that's been gathered that otherwise we wouldn't have known about, the county wouldn't have known about, you wouldn't have known about, related to efforts that are being conducted within the county.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you clarifying that. I just wanted to, and entertainment, if you would entertain me, before I did any of this, I ran the Department of Veteran Services at Towson University. We weren't housed in the, Office of Diversity. We were housed under Student Affairs because it was Student Affairs, but it would have been easy enough for the university to check us off as a box. We do things for vets, check. We have somebody related to an office. But through the work that you do and the work that, I've done, it takes everyone in an institution. You're not veteran friendly for having a vet center. You are not committed to diversity, inclusion, and equity just by having an office that is supposed to keep track and at the very least, keep the numbers straight. Report back to the administration. Provide that information to us. It is enterprise-wide in order to be successful, right?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate the work that you're doing related to that. And I think that, one, we can all stay, we're supporting. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear related to the fact that this helps provide and facilitate the conversation that otherwise can't be done through the 12 members that you have on your staff, correct?
Absolutely.
I appreciate you clarifying that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Young. Councilman Marks?
Night is getting long. I'll just end with this. If you're looking for an equity district, I've got a great suggestion for the first
Okay.
place to go.
All right, reach out to you.
Okay.
It's been mentioned tonight.
Can I say one last
Yes,
thing?
Councilman Ertel.
Real quick. I started this whole conversation, it was a plea for help. It wasn't against your department. We are happy that you're here. We're happy that we're doing this work. We need help. And we see people every day. We hear all the good and the bad in this county. Just please reach out to the council. That's all I was asking from the beginning. And we got into a theoretical discussion, and there was a lot of, seemed to be hurt feelings, but it's very frustrating when we talk about equity lenses, and I'm out in the community and I have all kinds of communities of color that are being shortchanged. And again, it's not necessarily because they're communities of color. A lot of communities get shortchanged in the county. We got a big county, a lot of needs, a limited amount of money, but we need your help. So that's, so hopefully this whole discussion was therapeutic for all of us in that, we need to work together as much as we can. So thank you for being here.
Councilman Jones.
I guess want to thank Councilman Ertel for your compassion and your advocacy for the people in your community. Clearly, you care a great deal, and when you see things that should be better, you work very hard to fix it. So I appreciate you very much and all the things you're doing, and I appreciate you bringing up the issues we talked about last week. It's important that we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. We had a pretty thorough discussion on this. So why don't we bring this to, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I think we're making progress here. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Okay, it passes. And I didn't want to say this before the vote, but Councilman Ertel, after our discussion on 324, I needed that therapy. Okay, let's move.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Peoples. Okay, so let me just find where we are and all that excitement. We'll now consider the remainder of miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, whenever a contract over $25,000 is awarded by a process other than competitive formal bid, it is required that a copy of the contract be given to the county council and the nature and parties to the contract be announced by the secretary at the next legislative session following award of the contract. There are 3 such contracts this evening that I will announce. The first is with Metrosens Incorporated. This purchase order is for the purchase of 2 new contraband detection systems at the jail manufactured by Metrosems Incorporated. Award total $34,980. Next is a purchase order with Foster and Freeman USA Incorporated for the purchase of 4 Crime Light auto kits for use by the crime scene unit of the police department. Award total of $146,390.55. And finally, we have a purchase order with Automated Control Concepts LLC for an upgrade to the SCADA, which is also is an acronym for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition, to upgrade the SCADA system through Automated Control Concepts Incorporated. This is related to the Department of Public Works and Transportation. Award total of $118,415.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. We have correspondence, Mr. Secretary, to be read into the record?
That's it.
That's it. Okay,
Yes, sir.
great. Thank you. Now, I suggested that this would be an action-packed meeting, and we're now here for the best part of the meeting. Resolution 424, the adoption of the master plan. And Mr. Lafferty, could I ask you to come up and say a few words?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. I'm glad we are finally at this point where the council is going to be taking up the master plan. As you know, we engaged the public over a couple of years, period of time, in order to bring forward what we believe to be the best direction really for the county based upon what we heard from residents and property owners. There's a lot of work that's gone into the plan, as you're well aware. We certainly appreciate all the thoughtful comments that we've heard from council members, and we know that going forward, we'll have a plan that we can then translate into an implementable document, which will then also be posted for us to sort of measure our successes going forward. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Lafferty. Any of the members have any questions, comments, or thoughts to share with Mr. Lafferty? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Lafferty, I just want to thank you. It's been a long road, but I think tonight we will move on to the next chapter on this. And so thank you again, and thank you to your staff for working on the master plan. Mr. Councilman Jones.
Yes, Director Lafferty, I just want to thank you and your staff for all the hard work they put in formulating the plan. And I know it's been through an awful lot of scrutiny, if you will, and praise and scrutiny and everything else, but I certainly appreciate all the efforts you put into it. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I would just like to thank Mr. Lafferty for not assisting the council whatsoever in our amendments to the master plan. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Crandall. Okay, Mr. Secretary, is the ball in your court now?
I believe it may be, Mr. Chairman. The master plan, the draft master plan as submitted, does have amendments that are being offered by, in fact, all the council members this evening. What I would propose is to go through the amendments for each council member kind of as a block, and for the council to consider voting on those amendments that are offered by each council member. If, as I proceed through summarizing each member's amendments, there is a question or a desire to separate a particular one, we can certainly entertain that with a motion. But if perhaps for expediency's sake and organizational sake, that's what I would propose that we do.
Well, Mr. Secretary, as John Luke Picard would say, make it so.
Yes, sir. The first amendment that is under consideration is being offered by all the council, and this is an amendment that would clarify that. Well, it would actually. In the resolution itself, after the first resolved paragraph and before the last resolved paragraph, there would be a paragraph inserted that would state, "Be it further resolved that the official format of the adopted master plan shall be in a printed format as set forth in parts 1 through 4 accompanying this resolution and incorporated herein by reference, and that any modifications and subject to any modifications of the county council. The adopted master plan may also be viewed online as a series of ESRI ArcGIS story maps." And that amendment would also be contained in the actual printed master plan document itself, in the overview section of the online plan under how the plan is used under the subsection titled Navigating the Living Document. That paragraph that is existing would be altered to state after the numbered list of 4 sections, it would state, "The official format of the Master Plan 2030 shall be in printed format, but the master plan may also be viewed as a series of ESRI ArcGIS story maps." So that is the first amendment that would be offered, my understanding, by all the council members.
Okay, do we have a motion? Let me ask, any questions, comments, or concerns for the secretary? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll move it.
Motion and second it. Mr. Secretary, call the roll, please.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel? Aye. Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Okay, it passes.
We have one out of the way.
We're making progress, Mr. Lafferty.
Next, since we're going in numerical order, next would be amendments to the plan offered by Councilman Young. Councilman Young has both text amendments to the plan as well as mapping amendment. The text amendment would, in the growth frameworks portion of the master plan under place types, it would insert, there are 4 nodes currently in the plan, and this amendment would actually add a 5th node to be labeled an institutional node. And then in the actual plan, so this is the creation of a new node, institutional node, and then in the body of the master plan itself, between pages 62 and 63, there would be a new page to describe the institutional node type. The node would also specify the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC. It highlights the substantial presence that UMBC has in the region, that it is recognized for its IT research, innovation, and commitment to diversity and equity, that it is home to a research and technology park. It would also highlight the acquisition of the 200-acre Spring Grove property situated north of the campus, and that both of these areas represent a significant growth area opportunity for this southwest section of the county. It recognizes that UMBC as an anchor institution is vital to the region and would have a lasting impact for many years to come, and that both UMBC and Spring Grove have potential to bring new businesses and economic vitality to the area. And so this, so this would add that text to that part of the place types area in the master plan. And then the mapping component would create a new institutional node map that would include what is currently the map of the special use area surrounding UMBC and Spring Grove, and would also include the CCBC Catonsville campus as another institutional node.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Any comments, questions? Mr. Councilman Young, did you want to say anything, or?
Just that is in line with the discussion that we had since getting the master plan and recognizing the strategic importance of UMBC and CCBC in Southwest Baltimore County.
Thank you, Councilman Young. And I was remiss earlier in my opening remarks. I really want to thank my colleagues on the council. We had a really robust not a work session, but a session between ourselves and we spent several hours going page by page through the master plan. I haven't really seen a council do that as thoroughly as I saw my colleagues here. And so it was really impressive. And I appreciate all the thought that each of you has given to amendments to the master plan. So were there any comments, questions, or discussions on this set of amendments? If not, I call for a motion.
Move favorable.
I'll second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Okay, it passes. We are really pushing forward with Master Plan 2030.
One thing I also wanted to add, Mr. Chairman and members, and you may already be doing this, but in your books between MB2 and MB3, you can, if you like, after the Barry Goldstein appointment, that's where the amendments begin, and we are now on the chairman's amendments, which are text. So again, if you'd like, if you have the, if you wish to follow along with my comments, you can do so.
Thank you.
Next, with Councilman Patoka, there are a number of amendments to the text of the master plan. The first set of changes is to the overview in the overview section of the plan. In the introduction, in the paragraph describing the state and local mandates for the master plan, there would be a sentence that would recognize that although the plan should have occurred in 2020, it was delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Second, at the end of the introduction, bold the words, "After Master Plan 2030 is adopted, any changes to the plan must be made legislatively by the County Council," to emphasize that point. Then under elements in the overview section, reorder the three themes of the master plan so that theme 1 is vibrant communities, theme 2 is equity, and theme 3 is sustainability. And then under the how the plan is used subsection, at the end of the description of the capital budget process, inserting a paragraph that states the county should strive to make the capital budget a living document, whereby the capital budget identifies capital projects in year 6 of the CIP that move forward in each succeeding year until they reach the budget year, so that neighborhoods and communities have predictability of when improvements will take place. And then finally, in that overview section, at the end of the subsection titled Implementation Dashboard, insert a sentence that states all changes to the master plan must be adopted by the planning board and the county council. Again, just emphasizing that point. To continue, now in the growth framework section of the plan, in the residential development capacity subheading, at the end of the subsection titled How Will Baltimore County Address These Issues, inserting a paragraph that states the county council should revise or remove zoning regulations that are no longer applicable to 21st century planning principles. This may include amending zoning classifications that are interdependent on antiquated terms or classifications and eliminating unnecessary hurdles in CZMP. And then under the, and then in the place types paragraph or subsection, in the description of the rural residential place type, after some areas of limited low density development are established, would insert a sentence that states prime and productive agricultural lands and soils should have limited development throughout areas outside the URDL. And also in the description of the neighborhood node place type would, in the list of node names, rename the Liberty Road East to the Liberty Road Inner Beltway. And then in the land use process heading, in the bulleted list after the sentence, a typical long-range planning process involves the following activities, it would bold the words, quote, development of small area community plans throughout the county in the second bulleted item. And if I can continue, then under vision framework, which is, I think, the third main organizational heading of the master plan, under livable built environment, under the housing priority, it would add an action 1 to goal 2 and renumber to ensure there are updated adequate public guidelines in place. Under the transportation priority, it would add an action that states amend the automotive services AS overlay district to accommodate electric vehicles and other sustainable modes of transportation. And then under the historic preservation priority, there would be an action added to that that states support community historic preservation committees so that their actions are meaningful. And then under that vision framework, under harmony with nature heading, under forest, sensitive areas and land preservation priority, at the end of goal 1, action 7, it would add after the statement of increase and enhance the health and resiliency of forests and vegetation along county waterways, coastal and inland through voluntary and incentive-based planting and maintenance programs, it would also insert and lengthen the maintenance period related to reforestation. Under the Green Networks priority at the end of Goal 2, Action 4, after increase the number of pocket parks with amenities focusing on areas of high population and redevelopment, insert especially in the more urbanized areas of the county. And then under the Green Networks priority at the end of Goal 2, Action 9, after expand access to and knowledge about environmental and sustainability issues and the rest of that sentence, it would insert a sentence that states it is critical for the school system to participate in this effort. And this is a paragraph about providing more information about county sustainability and environmental programs. Under the water quality priority at the end of Goal 3, Action 8, insert a sentence that states it is critical for the school system to participate in this effort. And this is a paragraph that would evaluate and implement education enforcement and infrastructure strategies to curb littering and expand the county's anti-litter program. And then under the climate resiliency and energy efficiency priority, add an action to the goal that states phase out vacant fueling stations and incentivize for redevelopment. And then also under the vision framework, under responsible regionalism, under the expanding the regional economy priority, at the end of Goal 1, Action 3, after working with surrounding jurisdictions to encourage and support the sustainable the sustainable development of housing and employment centers that are along the public transportation system and transportation corridors, insert as well as support the creation of a regional water authority. Next, under inclusive planning, in the community engagement priority, after providing notification of development activity in determined geographic areas to any community group that requests it, inserting a sentence that states, restructure the county website to make development meetings, development plans, and related information easier to locate and more user-friendly. And then under the capacity building priority in Goal 3, Action 6, after consider hiring strike an equity and inclusion planner and substitute more area and community planners. These planners will administer community organization and leadership development programs, oversee new equity planning efforts, conduct regular equity reviews of development review procedures, and implement the equity goals interwoven throughout Master Plan 2030. And then finally, in the healthy community setting, under the quality public services for all priority, an action would be added that states reform the adequate public facilities ordinance to address chronic school overcrowding and infrastructure concerns using best practices from other jurisdictions and the work of the APFO task force as a guide. And this Councilman Marks was also involved in this particular amendment in this aspect of Mr. Patoka's amendments. And then finally, under the recreational opportunities and access priority, 3 actions would be added to Goal 4. 1, create a network of connecting parks through the county. 2, strive to increase the county's tree canopy, especially in areas of deficiency. And 3, promote synergies among Baltimore County property management, recreation and parks agencies, and BCPS to clarify management of shared use facilities. That is the sum and substance of Councilman Patoka's amendments to the text of the master plan. Mr. Patoka has no amendments to any of the place type maps.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. They all sound like very reasonable amendments to me. Any of the members have any questions, comments, or thoughts? Councilman Jones?
Yes, Mr. Boswick, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, sir.
I lost you at like the second item. Can you take it from the beginning? That's a joke.
I thought Councilman Jones, I thought you would never ask. It's music to my ears. Go ahead, Mr. Secretary.
That reminds me of a Get Smart episode from back in the day.
All right, well, thank you. Do we have a motion? And I'll make the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Thank you, colleagues. Mr. Secretary, please proceed.
Yes, sir. The next set of amendments in your books pertains to amendments to be offered by Councilman Catch. Mr. Catch has an amendment to the text of the master plan. In the overview, in that first overview section of the plan under commonly used terms, in Appendix 6 of the printed plan, it would insert a definition of living document, which is referenced in a number of places in the master plan. And it would define the term living document that is being added to the commonly used terms as, quote, as used in Master Plan 2030, a living document is a document or set of documents as required by Section 523A of the County Charter and Article 32, Title 2, Subtitle 2 of the County Code that, after adoption by the County Council, may only be amended with the approval of the County Council. So that is the sum and substance of Mr. Catch's amendment, text amendment. And then Mr. Catch has several amendments to the place types map. The first would remove all of the mobility node. The first amendment would be remove all of the mobility node Lutherville Timonium located at its terminus with West Ridgely Road, and that surrounds the Lutherville Light Rail Station as shown on Mr. Catch's map, Exhibit A. The next one would remove portions of the mobility node Lutherville Timonium that straddles Green Spring Drive and is just south of West Timonium Road. Specifically, the amendment removes the area of Interstate 83 and the area west of Interstate 83 and east of Green Spring Drive as shown on the Catch map Exhibit B. The third map amendment would be to remove portions of the mobility node Lutherville Timonium that straddles Green Spring Drive and is just south of the area where Green Spring Drive becomes Deerco Road. Specifically, the amendment removes the area west of Interstate 83 as shown on the Catch map Exhibit C. The fourth change would create a new mobility node located east of Beaver Dam Road, west of York Road, north of Old Padonia Road, and south of Church Lane. It's actually a little more south than Church Lane. It doesn't abut Church Lane, but it's south of Church Lane as shown on the Catch map Exhibit D. And then the final requested or offered amendment by Mr. Catch to the place types map would remove a portion of the regional commercial node Hunt Valley. Specifically, the amendment would remove the area east of York Road and north of Schilling Road as shown on the Catch map Exhibit E.
Any comments, questions, or thoughts on the Catch map? That's kind of catchy. Okay. Do we have a motion? Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Okay, passes. Mr. Secretary, please continue.
Yes, sir. Next is the Council's consideration of the text amendments to the master plan offered by Councilman Jones. As follows, in the overview section of the master plan, in the how the plan is used heading, under the subsection titled Navigating the Living Document, after the numbered list of 4 sections, the amendment would state that in this instance, let me just, if you could just give me a moment, sir.
Take your time, Mr. Secretary.
we already took care of the format being in printed format. The next one, the amendment offered by Mr. Jones would state that, again, in the how the plan is used, it would state after the description of the section that reference names, it would amend the following paragraph. A resource page has been located on the Master Plan 2030 hub. This page provides additional information on many of the topics in the plan. The amendment would then state sources listed on the resource page are provided for reference only, and these sources and their contents are not part of Master Plan 2030. And then the next amendment would be under the subsection titled Implementation Dashboard. After the first paragraph that starts successful in implementation, there would be a paragraph that states the intention of the Master Plan 2030 vision framework is to establish high-level strategic goals for the county at large. Land use decisions concerning individual parcels or projects are not required to conform to the vision framework and instead should be evaluated on a case-by-case basis through applicable development approval channels. While every effort will be made to implement the goals of the vision framework, the information contained therein shall not be considered mandates, but rather aspirational goals for the long-term planning strategy of Baltimore County, unquote. And then the final amendment to the text of the master plan would be in the growth framework section under the place types in the subsection titled Master Plan 2030 Place Types Map. After the first paragraph that begins with the place types, there would be the insertion of a paragraph that states, quote, the primary and secondary uses listed in the place types below are examples for demonstrative purposes only. The uses listed shall not limit the permitted uses of any specific project, property, or tract. And then, unquote. And then that would then apply to the various lists of place types and their primary and secondary uses that are specifically listed in those areas.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Any questions, comments, or thoughts?
I'll move it.
Move it, I'll second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Okay, it passes. We are really making progress here. We'll be on to the CCMP in no time. Okay. Mr. Secretary, please proceed.
Yes, sir. Next are the amendments offered by Councilman Marks. Mr. Marks has amendments that he is offering to the text of the master plan as well as map amendments. I will go through the text first. The first area is in the growth framework and related to the urban-rural demarcation line heading under the subsection titled "The ERDL does the following." There would be an amendment that starts through adoption to state the following. Through adoption of the ERDL and subsequent master plans, the county has created a growth boundary that channeled infrastructure investment and growth inside the ERDL. This was based on a fiscal analysis to minimize the cost of development and to maximize the protection of sensitive resources outside the growth boundary, such as the drinking water supply system for 1.8 million users. Next, under place types, in the description of the established neighborhood place type, there would be actually two amendments under the place types. One related to the established neighborhood place type and the second related to the connected neighborhood place type. And Mr. Jones also is participating in this aspect of it. In the established neighborhood place type, the the primary land use and secondary land use paragraphs would be stricken, and the amendment, an amendment would be offered that starts areas within to state the following. Areas within the URDL, not within connected neighborhoods and nodes, consist of a wide variety of areas that range from existing low-density residential neighborhoods to denser mixed-use areas containing a wide variety of uses along major corridors. Although much of this area is already developed, there is some opportunity for new and infill development and redevelopment, but measures should be taken to avoid negative impacts to existing residential neighborhoods. Established neighborhoods are currently served with public water and sewer service. So that is as to the established neighborhood place type. Related to the connected neighborhood place type, this would similarly strike the primary land use and secondary land use paragraphs and would amend the paragraph that starts areas connecting to state the following. Areas connecting established neighborhoods and nodes that have a wide variety of uses, including a mix of commercial, office, industrial, and residential areas and uses, usually at a denser concentration than established neighborhoods. Many of these areas present opportunities for infill development and redevelopment, including adding a variety of housing types such as detached single-family, townhomes, and apartments. These place types contain a dense population of residents, employees, and visitors needed to support the node which they surround. And then in the description of the special use place type, striking all references to the Lafarge Quarry. And then on page 63 in the paragraph that starts includes certain after currently this designation applies to the Trade Point Atlantic site and would strike the reference to Lafarge Quarry. And this would also include doing the same thing on page 66 and page 67 of the plan. And then under the water resources element under the growth framework, in the subsection titled Water and Sewer Needs, after the paragraph that starts, however, there would be a new paragraph that would insert land designated as intensely developed areas in the Chesapeake Bay critical area outside the URDL should be served by public water and sewer to ensure protection of high quality natural resources and restoration of impaired waterways. And then in the subsection entitled Stormwater Impacts, after the paragraph that starts within the URDL, there would be the insertion of language that states, the Chesapeake Bay Critical Program estimates that in the future, increased precipitation and storms of greater intensity could generate more pollutant runoff and reduce the effectiveness of stormwater best management practices. In addition, increased temperatures could have a negative impact on water quality. And then in the vision framework part of the plan, under livable built environment, in the land use and development priority, there would be in goal 1, action 1, this would be reconfigured to state that, let me start over. After create a redevelopment framework that reinforces the existing URDL and focuses on redevelopment strategies through community planning policies, striking the sentence, quote, Baltimore County's urban-rural demarcation line was established over 50 years ago and has not been systematically reviewed for at least 4 decades. Prior to beginning work on the next master plan, the planning board and staff should conduct a comprehensive review of the URDL to determine whether it contributed to past racial and economic segregation as meeting the current and future needs of Baltimore County and the region. Under the housing priority, it would strike goal 2, action 7. Under the transportation priority, there would be 2 actions added to goal 3. First, ensure that road expansions are consistent with the rural or suburban character of the communities where they occur. Specifically, the county shall refrain from funding or otherwise moving forward with any projects that directly connect Forge Road to Bel Air Road, as well as Compass Road to Wampler Road, or advance any lane expansion of Chapel Road and Perry Hall, or Ebenezer Road in Middle River and White Marsh, and prioritize the construction of an eastbound connection from Philadelphia Road to White Marsh Boulevard and work to eliminate chronic congestion in the Cowanton Avenue area near Pulaski Highway. Under the infrastructure priority in Goal 4, Action 4, there would be the insertion of where there is a clear health need, after expand and update sewer systems to reduce the number of septic systems within the URDL, insert where there is a clear health need, not merely to drive new development, expand financial assistance for existing homeowners impacted by sewer projects. And then in the subsection titled Middle River Redevelopment Area, after the paragraph that starts furthermore, insert a paragraph that states, a small area plan should be initiated immediately after the adoption of this master plan to develop consensus regarding the future of this region. Every effort should be made to respect the beauty and character of the eastern Baltimore County waterfront with its established neighborhoods, marinas, and other small businesses. The future of the White Marsh Town Center should be a focus of this small area plan. A vision for the Lafarge Quarry should be another priority of the small area plan, or legislation that establishes an overlay with the requirement that a connection be constructed to White Marsh Boulevard that avoids local routes to the greatest extent possible. Conservation and compatible development are suitable uses here. Transportation safety, preservation of coastal regions, such as the bulk of the former CP Crane plant, and the adequacy of fire and police stations are critical concerns throughout the area. And then in the subsection titled Middle River Redevelopment Area, in the paragraph that starts, while retaining, strike the reference to the special use type, place type in this area, and strike the reference to this area having 4 place types and substitute 3. And then in the Harmony with Nature subheading, under the forest sensitive areas and land preservation priority, add an action to the Goal 1 that states support the protection and enhancement of lightly developed agricultural areas that remain in urbanized communities, such as the Chapel Road Corridor in Perry Hall and Hidden Waters Farm in Pikesville. Thank you for the assist, Mr. Patoka. Under the Green Network priority, amend Goal 2, Action 5 to state, quote, continue to support and expand the Operation Retree Baltimore County to not only involve older, high-density and lower-income neighborhoods, but also growth areas built between 1980 and 2000 where tree planting was not a priority. And then under the Climate Resiliency and Efficiency priority in the Harmony with Nature heading, add 2 actions to Goal 4. First, evaluate the county solar facility statute to ensure impacts are minimized on historic rural communities. And second, when considering development approvals of solar facility sites, target existing brownfields, impervious surfaces, and existing commercial industrial areas in order to minimize impacts on fertile agricultural soil. And under the healthy community heading, under the inclusive public safety priority at the end of Goal 2, Action 6, after modernize and update the police and fire department's aging facilities, vehicles, and technologies, insert and support the construction and renovation of new and existing career and volunteer fire stations. Under the quality public services for all priority, add an action to Goal 3 that states strengthen and stabilize the Belmont-Dunfield area by increasing community resources and recreational services. And I believe that's it for the amendments to the text of the master plan. Mr. Marks also has amendments to the place types map, and this would include the following. First, removing all of the neighborhood node Parkville and Kearney at the intersection of Harford Road and East Joppa Road, as shown on the Marks Map Exhibit A. Second, removing portions of the regional commercial node White Marsh Mall, located outside of the mall boundary, as shown on the Marks Map Exhibit B. Removing all areas of the neighborhood node Pulaski Highway Middle River, located in the 5th Council District on the northeast side of Middle River Road, except for the portion south of Campbell Boulevard and between Pulaski Highway and Philadelphia Road, as shown on the Marks Map Exhibit C. Removing the entire area from the special use place type Lafarge, located east of Earls Road, south of Ebenezer Road, and north of Eastern Avenue, as shown on the Marks Map Exhibit D. And then finally, Mr. Marks is adding a neighborhood node that would be called the Belmont Dunfield. So it would be neighborhood node Belmont Dunfield. That is a rough circle centered around the townhomes and apartments bounded by Walther Boulevard, Dunfield Road, and Kintmore Drive, as shown on the Marks map Exhibit E. And I believe that is the sum and substance of Councilman Marks' offered amendments.
Well, Councilman Marks, that's a thorough review of the master plan. I'm jealous.
It was once in a decade opportunity. So I'd like to motion that we adopt those amendments.
I'll
second.
Second by Jones, Councilman Jones. Okay, Mr. Secretary, please take the vote.
Yes, sir. Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, we are really making progress now. We're in the home stretch.
I think we're
So,
home
Mr. Secretary,
stretch.
please continue. Take your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next would be the amendments offered by Councilman Ertel. Mr. Ertel's amendment offering is to certain aspects to the text of the master plan. The first would be in the growth framework part of the plan under the water resources element. Mr. Ertel would, in the subsection titled Stormwater Impacts, would add a paragraph that states, quote, currently the county's stormwater management infrastructure is often inadequate in the face of severe weather events that are becoming a more regular occurrence. Specifically, many recent significant rain events have caused some vital county sewer pipes to fail, unquote. And then in the vision framework, in the livable built environment heading, and this would also, Mr. Patoka is also assisting is also co-sponsoring this part of the amendment. Under the land use and development priority, adding an action 7 to goal 1 to add, quote, review zoning regulations to prevent the oversaturation of certain businesses, such as the concentration of self-storage warehouses, tattoo parlors, fuel stations, and auto parts stores within a few blocks, or dollar stores that anchor older shopping centers. And then under the infrastructure priority, adding an action to goal 4 that states, review and expand the county's annual road resurfacing budget to repair, replace, and or repave a greater number of roads that currently have a poor rating, such that the number of poorly rated roads decreases each year. And then in the resilient economy of the vision framework part of the plan, under the workforce development priority, add an action to goal 2 that would state, expand opportunities for job training to meet the employment needs in the county's industrial corridors and manufacturing areas. And then finally, Mr. Ertel, in the inclusive planning heading of the vision framework, under the capacity building priority, would add an action to goal 3 stating, quote, support community education programs on code enforcement issues such as high grass and weeds, nuisances, proper trash containment and disposal, rat eradication, and other violations that affect the quality of life of communities and neighborhoods, unquote. And I believe that is the sum and substance of Mr. Ertel's offered amendments. Mr. Ertel has no map amendments.
Okay, any questions, comments, or thoughts for Mr. Ertel? There's some good ones in there, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, you have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Councilman Catch seconds. We'll give Councilman Catch one. Okay, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Okay, it passes now. We're really in the home stretch here. Continue, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, in numerical order, Mr. Crandall's offered amendments as the District 7 councilman. Mr. Crandall has no text amendments, and Mr. Crandall does have amendments to the place types map. Mr. Crandall's amendment would remove all the nodes from within the 7th council district, including the portions of the neighborhood node Pulaski Highway, Interstate 695 located in the 7th district, the neighborhood node Eastern Boulevard, Essex, the portion of the neighborhood node Eastern Boulevard, Middle River located in the 7th district, the neighborhood node Back River Neck, Essex, the neighborhood node Dundalk Avenue, Dundalk, the mobility node Merritt Boulevard, Dundalk, the node that surrounds the intersections of Sawyers Point Road, Merritt Avenue, and Merritt Boulevard, and the regional commercial node East Point Mall.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Any comments, questions, or thoughts from Mr. Crandall? We have a motion.
I'll move the amendment.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please take the vote.
Mr. Patoka?
Nay.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Marks? Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Okay, it passes. And what's next, Mr. Secretary?
If I could just check with my associate.
Okay.
I think that is it, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, unless anyone has anything off the top of their head that I missed. I think that's everything.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I would just say you did an outstanding job on this. And
Thank you.
That's what I was
thanks
gonna
goes to Mr. Phillips as well.
Mr. Phillips, you did an outstanding job. My hat, well, I don't have a hat, but if I had one, it would go off to you. And Ms. Belcastro, thank you for continued outstanding work. Really, you guys did a great job on this. We pushed hard on this. Another thank you to my colleagues. Even when we didn't agree, Mr. Crandall, I still thank you for your participation in this. Thanks to all of you. As I said in the beginning, I've been doing this kind of work a long time, not on the legislative side, but as a planner, and I've never seen a governing body, other than maybe a planning board, dig in to a master plan as this body did. So congratulations to all of you for a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the amendments have been approved by the council. So the only thing left is for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 4-24 as amended. Yes, as amended.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion and
Second.
Mr. Secretary, please call the vote.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Given the fact that this so-called award-winning master plan had over 65 different amendments to it and was attached to legislation that is still not dead, that would circumvent the council's land use authority and potentially establish an overlay district in the middle of CZMP after the deadlines for anyone, including the council, to put in CZMP issues, my vote is no.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Crandall, and everyone else that participated. Mr. Secretary, do we have any further business?
Yes. So with the approval of Resolution 4-24 as amended, next is Resolution 7-24. This is a resolution to accept the donation of a parcel of land at 2005 Old Bosley Road for introduction only this evening. And then finally, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, Resolution 8-24 is a resolution to authorize a payment in lieu of property taxes or pilot at the Essex 2, regarding the Essex 2 limited partnership. This is also for introduction only this evening.
Thank you, and thanks again to all of my colleagues. Thanks for everyone that participated here. Yes, Councilman Young.
I know we talked about it before, the resolution for the, I didn't see it on the agenda.
Yes, sir. It is not on the agenda, but you may certainly address it now.
Sure, absolutely. Go ahead, Councilman Young.
At the last meeting, we had talked about. Flipped the wrong way. At the last meeting, we had talked about the resolution to change council rules. Because it's a resolution, it means that we could vote on it tonight, but purposely kept it active so that it could have another work session in the spirit of what we're trying to change. A resolution acts differently as a bill. It doesn't get 2 work sessions unless specifically requested for a deferment of the vote. So I'm deferring the vote, which is also probably why it's not on the agenda, but I wanted to make sure that that was clear. The resolution to change the rules will be getting another work session for public comment and discussion before we vote on it, as if the rules were in place and it was treating it like a bill. So I appreciate the consideration from the members. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Young, and thank you for your good work on the resolution. It's really going to lead, in my opinion, to a much higher level of transparency in terms of the issues that come before this governing body. So in the master plan, we had, we're going to move for improvements in transparency in the long term, and through your resolution, Councilman Young, we're going to actually have some implementable short-term right-of-way measures to improve transparency. So thank you, Councilman Ertel.
Chair, little observation. We actually had a situation tonight where we had 3 people that came, I'm pointing, but they were there. Yeah, they're gone, right, who came to speak believing that, that there was still public input needed on Bill 124. And with these new rules, hopefully situations like that will not occur. And I'm sure that the 3 people that left were not familiar with the rules and were probably frustrated that, they didn't get to be heard. And hopefully in the future, these new rules will help with those kind of things.
That's a good observation, Councilman Ertel, and no doubt they were grumbling about the level of transparency that we currently have in place.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Councilman Randall.
I am going back to the beginning of our meeting. I'm a little perplexed because it was your full intention until 24 hours ago or less to introduce a bill that was only circulated on Sunday. And thankfully you didn't introduce it, but then you didn't offer to kill the bill that your bill was supposed to replace. So I'll believe in transparency and openness and follow the things that Councilman Young has proposed to us and that we voted on. I'll believe it when I see it.
Thank you for your insights on that, Councilman Randall. Okay, Mr. Secretary, do you have any further business?
The only thing I would add is to Mr. Young's point, so there will be a work session on Resolution 624. The second one will be, because we had the first one on February 13th, so there will be one next week on February 27th with the vote scheduled for March 4th. And other than that, there is no further business before the council, sir.
Thank you. Thanks to all of my colleagues on the council. Thanks to everyone that stayed throughout this long action-packed meeting. And as is customary, anyone who's registered to speak online prior to the meeting is allowed up to 3 minutes. Ms. Belcastro, are there any speakers signed up for this evening?
Before we do that, Mr. Chair, would you like to adjourn? Motion and
That's
second.
a really good practice. Okay, I'm going to motion to adjourn, and then we'll come back to that.
Second.
Okay, second. Everyone in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're adjourned, and now, as is customary, anyone who is registered to speak online or here or present prior to the meeting is allowed up to 3 minutes. Ms. Belcastro, are there any speakers for this evening?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we had 9 speakers this evening, but as Mr. Ertel alluded to, I'm sure that some of these names they're either no longer on because of the subject matter they were testifying on. First was a Jen McGrain, who was testifying virtually, and I do not see her on. Nicholas Stewart, who is on virtually. I will call him next. Mr. Stewart, you are on. You may unmute yourself and begin your testimony.
Nick, are you with us?
And he just fell off the meeting.
Okay. Guess that
I'll go
answers
into the
that.
next one. Who was Joan Davidson? She is no longer on. And Virginia Cruz. Ms. Cruz is on. Ms. Cruz, you're on as a panelist. You may begin your testimony.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to thank Councilman Wade Koch and the county council for coming together, especially around Bill 324. Councilman Crandall, I can understand your frustration with the proceedings on the disposition of Bill 324, but I have to say, as a member of the Lutherville community, we are very grateful to understand that Lutherville Station has been removed from the mobility node. We have fought this issue for 4 years, and we appreciate you coming together. I'm sure it has been an arduous task for all, but we appreciate all of the consideration that's gone into this as residents here in Lutherville who want to see our community thrive and continue. And I want to thank the council and especially the leadership from Wade Koch. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cruz. Mr.
Thank you.
Castro?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Our next registered speaker was Derek Court. He is no longer on.
Okay.
Mr. Walt Brewer was next registered. He sent an email saying that he would not be testifying. Next in person was Tom Davidson, and I do not believe Mr. Davidson is still here. Alex Dizaji, who is no longer on the meeting, and Amy Anton, who is also no longer on the meeting. So that concludes all of our
Okay.
speakers.
Well, I guess it wasn't action-packed enough to keep everybody on to the end. So thanks, everybody. Everyone have a great evening, and appreciate the work everyone put into this.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you.